I, Hello there! I'm Scotty. You're not. Before I get into this review, I've changed my mind. So I was gonna do Neighbors next. That's who I announced it in my last review. That's changed. Because I realized that Kick-Ass, which is the movie I'm reviewing now and should be behind me, is directed by Matthew Vaughn, who also directed Kingsman: The Secret Service. So, I'm going to be doing that one and replacing what would have been Neighbors 2 with its sequel, Kingsman: The Golden Circle, for Sequel-a-thon. So we're talking about Kick-Ass, which I saw when it came out. I didn't see it in theaters. I saw it when it came out on the Blu-ray and DVD. And I specifically remember watching this with the Groby. And it was here. And I had a computer at the time, and my grandma was here fixing the computer. I didn't realize it was rated R. And then we were watching it, and they were swearing. And my grandma was like, "What are you watching?" I'm like, Kick-Ass. What is this? Is this PG-13 supposed to be? No, it's rated R. Oh. I was an adult, a grown-ass man. Go watch rated R stuff, and just, So we follow Dave Luzinski, of course it's saying in the back, as he decides he wants to be a superhero crime fighter. Okay. Sure. You know what? He's in it, so why don't we just go ahead and enter the cage? He's on the wall. He's here. It counts. I'll put it in the heading, enter the cage, because why not? He's in the movie. I just thought about that. So Dave wants to be a superhero like he's seen in the comic books and everything. But I feel like to take a realistic approach with this, whereas in a movie like, say, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man or the Dark Knight movies, he would catch on really quick and be good almost right away. Here, they take a realistic approach. The first time he goes out, he gets his ass kicked. He gets hit by a car. It's realistic. It's normal, right? It's very realistic. Although, the video of him saving the day and protecting someone going viral like that, probably not realistic, but There's also a superhero team called Hit Girl and Big Daddy. They're a father-daughter team who are out for revenge against this crooked crime boss played by Mark Strong, and not Elias Koteas as I originally thought. It's Mark Strong with the side hairpiece, like that. Because Mark Strong's normally bald, but he kept this, right? And so he looks like Elias Koteas, but it's not. It's Mark Strong, who is this big crime boss guy who caused the death, who basically framed Big Daddy, who was a police officer. He went to jail, during which his wife committed suicide, leaving Mindy alone and in the arms of his best friend Marcus, not in the arms, but under the protection, under the watch of his best friend Marcus, who in this is played by Omari Hendricks. Whereas Hendrick, whatever, where he's replaced with Morris Chestnut in the sequel. You also have Dave's best friends, Todd, played by another Quicksilver actor, Evan Peters, and the other guy, played by Clark Duke. I forgot the other guy's name. Marty, played by Clark Duke. Was Clark Duke in just everything in the late 2000s, late 2010s? Think about it. 2009, Sex Drive. 2010, this, and Hot Tub Time Machine. He was just everywhere, right? In the early 2010s and stuff. Just there he is, right? There's one storyline in this that had me confused. It's the whole... So, Dave has a crush on this girl, what's her name? Lindsay or whatever her name is. I forget her name. Lindsay Fonseca's character. He has a crush on her, and she wants nothing to do with him. She's like, and she says, hi, babe, or hi, gorgeous, or something. He thinks she's talking to him, but it's really her friend that's behind him. And then she starts to, you know, spend time with him because she thinks he's gay. And for some reason, that attracts women. I don't know. And so they start just doing things together. And then halfway through the film, he reveals to her that he's kick-ass and that he's not gay. And they just be fucking. They do it. This and 8 Mile, I'll never get the idea of just going to some random place in a corner and doing it. Here it's by a freaking dumpster. The smell of garbage would deteriorate your horniness. And then, you know, in 8 Mile, it's like in the back of where he works at this garage place. I understand you're horny, you want to have a quickie, but I don't know. By a dumpster. On the other side, this mob guy, he has a son named Chris, who decides that the plan is to lure in Kick-Ass, because Kick-Ass... So, Big Daddy and Hit Girl are taking out these places that the mob boss owns, and they think it's Kick-Ass. So Chris comes up with the idea to pretend to be a superhero to lure in Kick-Ass. Now, it's not really negative on the movie, but I feel like there was more to Chris's story, or to Chris's storyline in this, that they just sort of dropped the ball and decided, oh, he's going to get revenge in the next one. But that's not where it seemed to be going at first. Because he tries to set up Kick-Ass, but Big Daddy Hit Girl get to this warehouse that they're going to at first. And the thing is, you think they're going to be like, oh, it was a trap. No, they had no idea that they were going there. They just knew it belonged to the mob boss guy and blew it up. And set it on fire. But Chris was able to obtain this teddy bear nanny cam that he put in there that recorded everything. And yes, before even saying anything, Big Daddy is basically Batman. So, Nicolas Cage voiced Superman and played Batman. Boom. I'm saying that, right? Technically Batman. I'm technically Batman. But this is 2010's Nicolas Cage, where he's just going nuts with his performance. Even puts on a fake mutton chop mustache thingy. The fake, not mutton chops, but the fake handlebar mustache to kind of throw people off. Yeah. And then, so, Dave eventually promises his girlfriend he's not going to do it anymore, but then decides he has to do it one more time, and gets lured by Chris, tricked, and so Chris shoots Hit Girl. She survives, bulletproof vest, I think, and Kick-Ass and Big Daddy get kidnapped. And here's where I think Chris's story should have changed. He says, wait, Kick-Ass has nothing to do with it. It's Big Daddy that you want. Kick-Ass has nothing to do with that. And like, his dad's like, well, too bad, basically. They all die or whatever. And then Chris does nothing for the rest of the film. Which is why I have an issue with his writing. Like, you have him being a part of this film, getting all this together, and it's like, because they settled on him, oh, he's going to get redemption, he's going to get revenge in the second film because his dad is killed here. Which, by the way, there's no real proof that the guy's dead because he gets killed by a bazooka, flown out the window, and explodes. Unless they find body parts on windshields, maybe. But, like, for all this purpose of it, when Chris comes out with the samurai sword, he's like, you should be like, Dad, where'd you go? I mean, he's McLovin, but, And then partially because, and I've seen the second one, so I can tell you this for sure, he's not intimidating. Like, not at all. Like, it's Christopher Mintz-Plasse. It's McLovin. No, I am McLovin. It's not He's not intimidating. He's not. No, nothing. No. Just no. I do like Chloe Grace Moretz in the role, especially after Big Daddy dies of being burned to death, I guess. What we're supposed to think, I think. She wants to get revenge, and she is full for it. Even dressed in like a little schoolgirl or whatever it is. Girl Scout or something, I don't know, something. To trick to get her way in there. Like, she does kill a bunch of people to the Banana Split song, which is kind of cool. But, like, she gets in there, she's just kicking ass. Kick ass. At this point, like, Dave is done. But decides to go after her and help her anyway. Showing up with a jetpack to help her. And using... Just... The one henchman comes in and goes, I get the bazooka. He's like, everything's okay. I do like Chris's response. That's a fucking bazooka. Everything's okay. That's a fucking bazooka, you dumbass. And so he goes to use it, but he doesn't get to use it because Dave comes in and shoots the hell out of everyone. And then the mob boss guy is like, that's a funny sound of bazooka. And it comes out and he's like, oh. And then the fight goes down. I guess he gets killed by the bazooka later. So, yeah. But yeah, and then Chris's story goes on to the next one to get revenge. But how much more would it have been if, you know, because Chris realized his dad is not the guy he thought he was, you know, like he's a little more... Yancy Butler plays the mom and his mom, and she's like a cameo at the beginning of this. I don't know, but like, if he realized that it wasn't, you know, he wants to be a superhero, so he saves them, because like, Mindy is bleeding out her nose and is about to be killed, which, again, realistically, she's a little girl, and so, yeah, she's about to get shot when Dave shows up. But what if it wasn't Dave? What if Dave is too incapacitated at this moment? What if Dave and Chris have a talk, and Chris realizes that he's on the wrong side, and uses the bazooka on his own dad, right? I didn't want any of this. I was just supposed to lure you. You weren't supposed to get hurt. You know, and he changes sides or something. It just feels like Chris is a big part of this movie until he's not, and then they set him up for revenge, which, I don't know. I guess it works in the next film, but it's just like, I don't know. I thought this the first time I watched it, and I'm thinking it now. Shouldn't they have had like some kind of redemption arc instead of a revenge arc that they go into? Again, it's based off comics. Maybe it's in the comics. I don't know, but yeah, the Red Mist becomes the motherfucker. Yeah. And I do like the shot where they're showing what happened afterwards, and like Clark Duke's making out with the Dave's girlfriend's best friend. Dave's making out with his girlfriend. Yeah, Evan Peters in the middle just going. They're just making out usually, you know. And I looked at the cast list for the next movie. I'm sad that Evan Peters was recast with someone else because, well, I didn't realize that was the same character when I watched the movie, but. Yeah. I thought Mark Strong was a pretty good villain. He's playing stock mob boss number 2, but he's still good in the role. Again, like I said before, I thought it was Elias Koteas once upon a time ago because of the way that he has his hair. I mean, look at him. He kind of looks... Where is he? He's right there. Kind of looks like him a little bit. I also like that the suits are kind of colorized here. If you look at it, there's the green and the yellow, the red, the purple, black. Oh, let's talk about a scene that made me kind of... So, it made me think that this mob boss guy is just stupid. He's relying too much on his hatred. His not his brains. So, he's with one of his little security guys when he sees a person dressed as Kick-Ass just walking down the street. He thinks it's the real Kick-Ass and beats the shit out of him and then shoots him in the head. Turns out it was a party entertainer. And even his little rant, who has a kick-ass party? Nobody has a kick-ass party. I have a Batman party or a Spider-Man party. Nobody has a kick-ass party, which is kind of true. But also, what kind of entertainer walks around on the street in public in costume on the way to a party? First of all, if you're driving in your car, maybe. But if you're walking, just put the costume on when you get there before you walk in the building. Don't walk to the place in the costume. Who does that? It's all to lead him to think he got him, but it's not the real one. And instead of, oh, someone's after kick-ass because of this. Yeah, it's kind of a stupid saying, but, you know. Yeah. I still like this movie, man. I give it a pretty good. I think it's well done. I think it's a decent satire. There's some satire in there. It makes a realistic world where, like, everybody thinks, oh, I can do that. I can be a vigilante. But this shows you, you know, it's not all it's cracked up to be, you know. Just saying. But, yeah, so what are your thoughts on Kick-Ass? Leave them comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.